Just recording this. This is after the credits rolled.
This part is just for you. After the haunting started, I got in touch with an organization that was still looking into what happened in Bright Falls. I went to their offices and something happened there. After I got home, I could suddenly remember everything. I remembered being trapped inside that lake. A dark ocean with echoes of myself. My fears, my photos. Inside a dark tide of madness. The same events and images looping again and again. And then I saw a light. Your light. You dove in just as I swam out. You never drowned. And you're still there reaching out. That is what the haunting is. I can see you because I've been there too. I chose to come back to the dark place. That is why I put on this exhibition. I had to mislead you so that I could get you to where you needed to be. The only way out of your loop is destruction or ascension. Light or dark. And we've covered the destruction part many times over. And we're getting to the ascension bit by bit. Time means nothing here. You'll still need to go through the loop. But I will keep showing you the images you need to see. The light you need to see. Until you're ready. Alan, I think we're getting close.
It's not a loop. It's a spiral.
Alright guys, welcome to the channel. I am John and we just finished Alan Wake 2 and this is our review of it. It's fitting that we started it with the post-credit scene and we're going to continue on now. I'm going to talk about what I thought were the good points and the bad points of it. And we are going to just try to settle in with this a little bit. And if you're watching this and you haven't played the game, you really should play it, man. It's one of the best games I've ever played. Yeah. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic story game. It's a fantastic story game. You know what? Let's leave that music on in the background. Let's just turn it down. That's good. So I was debating about writing down everything and coming back here with a very nice bulleted list like somebody posted on my channel that I should probably do. However, I don't really want to stop the recording because of the post-credit scene. There could be another post-credit scene, right? And I don't want to do that because I want to catch it. So we're just going to have to wing this one. We're going to do something a little more thoughtful maybe next time. Okay, good points. I loved the way that Saga figured out what was happening. I loved the way that we had to piece together things detective style with those little cards. I thought that was great. I love the way Alan's was different. Alan's was about switching realities with the different types of writing. So we had these big plaques with these little little posts that we could click on that would switch the reality and switch the story and open up passageways and close other passageways and make it dangerous or not make it dangerous. And then Alan had another wrinkle, and he had, I don't know what that was, a scepter or something that could like grab light or put light back, like where there was light, say it was a stoplight or a street light. We could grab that light inside and capture it inside of the scepter thing. And then we can go another place where there wasn't light, put the light back, which would change things around that little area. Saga had something similar to that. She had the Alan Casey lunchboxes. She also had, well, the Alan Casey lunchboxes are more akin to the Words of Power that Alan had. But that was just so well done. I loved the way we upgraded our weapons on both sides. I loved the way that we found the Words of Power for Alan's and the Casey lunchboxes for Saga. We had all of these weapons, pump action. They were pretty even, okay? The weapons were pretty even. So both of them had a handgun. Both of them had a shotgun. Saga got 2 shotguns, a sawed-off shotgun, pump action shotgun. And then they both got a rifle, which I barely used. It took too long. It was bolt action. It took too long to, like, cock it and stuff. And you didn't really get the upgrades that you would normally get in, say, Resident Evil Remake. You couldn't, like, specifically make it do more damage or specifically increase the clip size or any of that kind of thing. It was more vague. It was more story-like. It wasn't... When you upgraded a weapon, Alan Wake came on and gave you sort of a story about what happened. Like, you upgraded whatever as Saga with the weapon, use some of those Casey lunchbox things. And then Alan would come on and say, and then she did this and she was suddenly able to aim better. You know, I mean, how cool was that? It was immersive is what it was. And it really made that part of the game great. I loved that you could just run by enemies. You didn't really need to fight all of them. Some of them were required. Some of the enemies as both. And then there were a couple of bosses on each side. It wasn't a big deal. I died a lot at those bosses, and you guys can go back and you can watch that if you'd like to. It's fun. You know, I thought the bosses were clever, but I thought they were really, really good for this type of game. This game isn't about making it hard and not being stuck on something for a while. The hardest time that I had was probably on the beach when I was Saga and I had to shoot, or was it Alan? I don't remember. And I had to shoot all of those dudes, and we had the rock and roll band pulling them all out of the ocean, and they were showing up all over the place. And then, you know, Estevez and Casey were shining the light down and giving me a breather or something. I think we died there like 20 times because they were coming at me from all different directions. So that was probably the hardest one. I mean, some of the other bosses were pretty easy. I mean, the one with the two police officers was pretty easy. I mean, you figure out what to do when you do it. But it was clever. It was a clever way to close a chapter. And that was all about the story. It was all about the chapter you were in, what was happening, as both characters, Alan or Saga, and how it related to the people around them that were working with Casey, and then each other. And as the game went on and on, you know, they talked more, Alan and Saga, in their mind place. The mind place was great too. I mean, I already talked about the plot board, but I mean, that's just a great idea. If you needed to go and view something, whether it would be a case or whatever, as Saga or as Alan, you wanted to like look at the what the writings when you were Alan, you can go into the mind place and you can take your time and look through that, piece things together, look at it. If you were, one of the other things that I really liked about it, when you were Alan and you had the I don't know what those those things were called, like scenes, right? They were scenes, maybe. So you had a scene in the theater, and then you would get plots for the theater, and those were those little like cards that went along with each scene. Sometimes each scene had 3 or 4 of those, and if you were to click on those cards that were associated with each scene, plots associated with each scene, if you clicked on the plot, I don't know if that's exactly what it was called, it would change the reality all around you for that scene. It would completely change the scene. So everyone had, some had 1, some had 2, some had 3, some had 4. I think there might have even been one with 5. Maybe not. But the point being, you didn't really need to do all of them. But you could if you wanted to. You only needed to do what you needed to do to advance the story. But in some of the scenes, there were 4 different plot points that you could change the reality in the whole theater, or the section of the theater you were in that the scene was related to. So you could change that. And then do what you needed to do. You couldn't get through the doorway. You couldn't go down a passageway. Change that reality by clicking on one of those plots for that scene. It would change it. Then you had 3 other ones that you didn't use yet. But now you can get through the doorway. Now you don't have to go back to that other place. So do you need to use those other 3? No. But you could. What would that do? I don't know. I didn't do them all. Maybe there would have been something else. Maybe there would have been a cache of healing objects or something. I don't know. Because that's what would happen. It wouldn't just change like reality in terms of being able to go through passageways or cut off passageways or open up stairways or whatever. It would also, there would be a place to loot or not, or a place to get I don't think they restricted words of power to those plots in the scene. I think you could always get to the words of power, which is really good, right? Okay. So, I thought Saga was great. Thought the voice acting of both of them were great. And I will say that, and I already did, that episode We Sing is probably the most incredible moment I have ever had playing a video game. It was phenomenal. Just like I said before, happy, joyous, exciting, because you actually had to fight dudes too in parts of it. Wonder, amazement. What else can you think of? Another adjective like that. It was great. It was fantastic. It was clever. When they're like, you know, wait, let me turn this on so I can see if when they're like, you know, they're like, go that way, you know, and so good. It made me go back and want to watch, there's a segment of the Gamer Awards where they all got back on stage and sang it, right, with Poets Fall or whatever that band is. So good, man. It's so good. So I watched it today. My wife watched it with me. It was really fun. Okay, bad things. I almost have no bad things to say about this game. I really do almost have no bad things to say about this game. The ending, where I couldn't pull my map up to find out where I needed to go, I was a little frustrated with that part. Okay, I think that was kind of dumb. I understand why they did it, and maybe I'm just being grumpy about it, and that's perfectly okay. But that part wasn't so great to me. I don't really think there was anything else about this game that I didn't like. I loved it. I have never played the first one, so I'm going to probably go back and play that. I loved more things that were great. I didn't even know this was made by the people who made Control. There's Ati. I'm like, oh my God, guys, that's Ati from Control. Like, you guys don't know, right? I didn't know. And then I'm like, wow, this is like Control, in the beginning part. So one of the things I didn't do very well in the beginning is I didn't understand the scene switching. I didn't understand, all of a lot of the ways of switching the realities or doing the different things in the mind place as each character until, I don't know, maybe a quarter of the way through to really understand what I'm doing. And then halfway through, I was just bringing up the scene, bumping back through realities and stuff to see if it took a while for me to understand that. But I'm not the greatest. I'm not the greatest gamer. I am playing this for enjoyment. I'm not really very sharp sometimes when I'm doing these things, and we're doing it on camera. So, I'm sort of taking more things for face value. Anyway, guys, look at all of the people who are involved in making this. I'd like to say that I know Baldur's Gate 3 should have won Game of the Year, but it's too bad that this game came out that year, because it would have won Game of the Year if it didn't. They maybe want to have multiple Games of the Year this year, because this certainly does deserve it. It's tough, though, and I may just take that back right now, but I think it's a little tough because of when you have a game that isn't a particular genre, that isn't maybe not as played by the masses as much, right? How could that be Game of the Year, right? It's like a FromSoft game like Dark Souls or Sekiro, but guess what? Those are Game of the Year. Elden Ring, right? That's a niche game, kind of. Normal people who play first-person shooters might not be playing that. They might not be playing this. So really, that's why right when I was about to say this, I thought to myself, you know what? Don't say that, because niche games are winning these awards all the time. Every year, just about. I know people who never play a Zelda game. They just don't want to play a Zelda game. And Zelda comes out with a game that I sunk 200 hours into in order to win it. Very thorough, went around, killed everything, right? So, yeah, so you've heard all of the good points, and you've heard the one bad point. I really can't think of anything else about the game that I didn't like. I don't think this game or Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4 Remake, I don't think these games are scary. Last of Us certainly isn't scary. What they are is they're tense. Like, I can't see anything. Oh my God, there's a dead person right in front of me, right? Tense moments, not really scary. I mean, I guess you can interpret that as scary. Depends what you guys think is scary. Is that scary when it's tense like that and that's it? Now, when it did the flashy things in front of me, like, out of nowhere, that made my heart go right through my fucking stomach or whichever way. I don't even know which way. That was intense. It gave you the oh my fucking God moment, right? Just like when you're playing Biohazard and you're running around the table where the guy's trying to kill you. Right, the beginning part, remember? Intense. Very like, you only have a little while, the guy's right on your ass and you're running and you're injured and you're limping, right? So that kind of tense. So I wouldn't say scary. I would say tense. But yeah, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this series. I hope you enjoyed my wrap up of it. I know it's ad hoc, but I didn't want to stop it because this thing is going. I'm gonna pause this really quick, and then I'm gonna start it up again right at the end, just in case. All right, guys. We're back. Just for the end of this, just to see if there's anything else. What a fabulous game. The journey through the night continues. Casey was so great in this, wasn't he? Whoever that is who played Casey. He was. This is a fabulous game. And that's it. The final draft. What is that? I don't know. Should we click on it? Normal, hard. Is this NG? NG plus, I mean. This is the final draft. This must be something different. What is this?
Back to the beginning, with the memory of the past loop already fading fast. But while it lingers, I know there's hope. We're not doomed to repeat our failures in an eternal loop. This is a spiral. A fictional poet once said, "Beyond the shadow you settle for, there is a miracle illuminated. I will not settle for a shadow. I'll find the miracle through the night." It's not just victims and monsters. I see now there are heroes as well. We can find our way through the darkness. We will break through the surface. We will emerge into the light.
So there'll be DLC for this for sure, right? Did you guys play Control? Did you like it? Should we play Control on the channel? And the DLC? I don't know. What do you guys think? All right, that'll do it for this. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. We'll see you soon.